Hi, I'm attorney Eric Lewis with Lewis Legal Services in Indianapolis. Today, I have a quick update with the new national means test numbers recently released by the Department of Justice that go into effect on April 1st, 2023. If you didn't already know what we're talking about here, the means test is used in bankruptcy for a number of things, but primarily for Chapter 7 cases in which the majority of the debt is consumer debt. It helps determine eligibility based on your current monthly income and expenses, and comparing that with the state average family income values that vary by household size. In Chapter 13 cases, it also helps determine what we call the commitment period. That would be whether your Chapter 13 repayment plan has to be a minimum of 3 years in duration or 5, and also how much you can reasonably pay back on your debts through a Chapter 13 plan by the determination of disposable income. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these changes. So effective April 1st, 2023 for consumer bankruptcy cases, these are the new numbers. What stands out to me with this update is that these are fairly significant increases to the median family income numbers used in bankruptcy means testing. So if you're an individual filing bankruptcy, your debts are primarily consumer debts, and no applicable exemption applies to you, such as current service in the military, for example, then you have to take a means test analysis. And the means test looks at your income for the 6 calendar months prior to the calendar month in which you file your bankruptcy case. So when we average that income, that previous 6 months, and we annualize it, the question becomes, where does that average put you in relation to these cutoff numbers? If your average is below these numbers, then there's no further analysis in terms of means testing. If your average is above these numbers, then further means testing is required to look at your specific expenses and judge your ability to pay back your debt, even if just in part, which would be a Chapter 13 proceeding. Now, on the expense side of the analysis, the means test is uses certain standardized numbers that we call the national living allowance, which is based on your household size. There are other expenses, of course, that you can take in a means test for Chapter 7 or a determination of disposable income in Chapter 13, numbers that are unique to you, such as a certain amount of, what you might do in charitable contributions or retirement contributions, what you pay for life insurance, car insurance, health insurance. But some of the numbers, as you can see here, are set by law, and there can be some deviation for necessary expenses, but this is the expectation per household size. So for means test analysis for eligibility, determination of disposable income in Chapter 13, or just the general reasonableness of your budget on Schedule J in your bankruptcy paperwork, the court looks at these numbers as a guide to determine if your deductions from income are both reasonable and necessary. Now, what's interesting to me is that while the numbers for median household income are showing a significant increase for this period in which the Department of Justice has released these numbers, the means test numbers for typical household expenses are not changing and will remain the same numbers that went into effect May of last year. Now, if you've gone out shopping anywhere for anything, that the cost of just about everything is way up. So maybe they're still working on some calculations for new numbers and will release something in the coming months. Like last year when the numbers came out April 1st, they did a revision that went into effect on May 15th. So if we see something like that, I'll put a note here in this video at this point to show you that we're making a new video with the new numbers. But for now, the expenses that changed May 15th last year still remain the same. All right, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, please contact my office. And if you want to stay up to date on developments in bankruptcy law, click that like button, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.